Tonight, Ontario increases capacity limits at sporting venues.
I think everybody get vaccinated and should be safe.
Would you go?
Of course. If I have a chance, I would go.
Sports fans rejoice. The new limits coming just in time for the Leafs exhibition game and the final games of the Jays' regular season and hopefully playoff run. Plus,
they've come in, they've had their certificates ready to go.
3 days into the province's proof of vaccine requirement, how businesses are doing with the new system that Ontario's top doctor says will likely stay in place through the winter. And
we are here today to tell our government facts that they should already know and that they should already be acting on.
Thousands of young people take to the streets of Toronto, joining others around the world to call for government action on the climate crisis. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. We begin with breaking news tonight. Canadians Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor, who have been detained in China for more than 1,000 days, have been released and are now on a flight home to Canada. The Prime Minister making the announcement this evening.
About 12 minutes ago, the aircraft carrying Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor left Chinese airspace and they're on their way home. These two men have gone through an unbelievably difficult ordeal. For the past 1,000 days, they have shown strength, perseverance, resilience, and grace.
The release of the two Michaels came just hours after U.S. prosecutors resolved criminal charges against Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou, who has been living under house arrest in Vancouver. The 49-year-old was arrested at Vancouver's airport in December 2018 on a U.S. extradition request. A few days later, Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig were detained in China in what is widely seen as an act of retaliation by Beijing against Canada. Both men were charged with espionage. Spavor was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Kovrig was yet to be sentenced after trial wrapped up in March. Now, China has long insisted that the two Michaels' cases are not linked to Meng's case. Meng is currently on her way back to China. Well, back to Ontario now, and capacity limits for many venues are going up starting tomorrow. That includes sporting arenas, which is good news for fans because it comes just in time for the first Leafs exhibition game tomorrow night and the Jays' final regular season homestand next week. Lorena Redicott reports.
Just outside the Rogers Centre, this Jays fan thinks it's the right move to allow more fans in the stands.
This is amazing. This is that we want, and we are expecting for so long, right? It's time for that.
Starting tomorrow, outdoor seated venues can have 75% capacity, or 30,000 people, whichever is less. For Jays games, that means 30,000 fans for the end of the season. Given the airflow, it's considered an outdoor venue, even if the roof is closed. But Blue Jays games on TV show many fans aren't following the masking rules. While the vaccine passport is in effect, the chief medical officer reminds people that the vaccine isn't 100% effective and urges caution in advance of indoor sports starting.
For those venues, I am concerned that they could be a source of infection to others, but we'll have to continue to monitor that data.
At indoor venues where vaccination is required, they're bumped up to 50% capacity, or 10,000 people, whichever is less. That includes Leafs games and other indoor sports. Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment says it'll be keeping a close eye on masking and enforcing it if people aren't eating or drinking. And tomorrow, the 10,000 Leafs fans will notice some other differences.
Checking vaccine status is new. Our fully mobile ticketed environment is new. And the fact that we won't be allowing bags beyond the very small clutch size in is new.
He says ventilation is improved and there will be some distancing.
So upper bowl, lower bowl, the entire arena will be in use. There isn't a requirement for us to maintain a particular physical distance, so we will spread the seats out across the venue.
For some sports fans, it feels overdue.
I think it'll be great if they keep opening the place up now.
I think everybody get vaccinated and should be safe. Yeah.
Would you go?
Of course.
Outdoor events where people stand move to 75% capacity, or max 10,000 people. The chief medical officer says looser capacity limits could be coming at other places, including restaurants.
That's certainly on our radar, but slow and steady has been our mantra over the last several months. It's done us well.
MLSE would like to see full capacity allowed for the start of the regular season for both the Leafs and Raptors. That's in less than a month. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
The increase in capacity limits comes as Ontario's top doctor says the province's vaccine passport system will likely stay in place through the winter. The system was launched this past Wednesday, requiring people to show proof of vaccination when entering places like restaurants and gyms. Our Dale Manukduk has more on how businesses have been doing so far in navigating the new system.
3 days into requiring patrons to show proof of vaccination, this Beaches brewery says things are going smoothly.
The clientele that we've had have been ready. They've come in, they've had their certificates ready to go.
Staff have also been ready to go, albeit with minimal training.
We're not going to sit and burn a whole bunch of labor hours having staff, taking a very deep look into this.
While not everyone has yet been in a situation that has required proof of vaccination, those who have say it's been a simple process.
The first time I did it, I had a paper proof of vaccination. I've subsequently loaded the proof of vaccination into my Apple Wallet.
Super easy. I just pulled up the email confirmation from the clinic that I had it done at and showed it to them.
But a quick and easy process for customers doesn't mean the same thing for businesses.
It adds an administrative cost on our members, which is totally unnecessary. We wish that they had come straight to a QR code.
They released this passport idea a month in advance of when the QR code is going to come, but they downloaded the work to us and the expense to us. I have to put an extra person on to do the door now.
Tonight, that person is Toronto Danforth MPP Peter Tabbins, who's working the door at 7 numbers to bring the experience back to the legislature. He thinks the list of businesses requiring proof of vaccination should be expanded.
I think all non-essential retail should be included in that. We've got a very tough contagious disease that we're dealing with.
Modeling suggests a spike in the virus in January and February. Until that passes, Ontario's top doctor says vaccine passports are here to stay.
And as we see the virus slowing down and not able to impact our health sector, our hardworking nurses in the intensive care unit and emergency departments, then I think we'll slowly pull back on all public health measures.
Ontario's QR code and vaccine verification app is expected to be available in a month's time. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Thousands of young people took over the streets of Toronto today, marching as part of a global movement called Fridays for Future. The movement encourages young people around the world to demand government action on climate change. Chris Glover has more.
Justice for Indigenous people.
Thousands of climate activists marched down Toronto's University Avenue from Queen's Park to City Hall.
My heart is really full. I'm so happy, and it's the sun's coming out. I think that Mother Nature's listening to us.
But these young people are hoping politicians are listening.
We are here today to tell our government facts that they should already know and that they should already be acting on.
15-year-old Arissa Roy is inspired by the global youth-led demonstration made possible by social media.
Mother Earth is under attack! What do we do?
And an increasingly agitated global population waking up to the disasters of climate change.
It feels very powerful because the concept of climate change is kind of scary because for the people in power right now, of course they're adults, which means that they won't be as affected by this.
These people, they're saying so much stuff that they have time for climate change and stuff, but they don't do anything ever.
Bella the polar bear came with a funny costume, but a serious message.
It's speaking on behalf of all the elemental beings on the planet and not just humans, because we affect everything.
Germany saw among the largest rallies today. Teen Greta Thunberg started the movement in 2018.
We need to be active democratic citizens and go out on the streets like we are doing today.
The youth movement picked up steam in Toronto in 2019, and now it's not just young people taking part.
They're the people who are going to take the brunt of the impacts of climate change. I'm going to be gone by the time the worst of it gets here.
And we need immediate action.
The 22-year-old Toronto organizer, Alinor Rougeau, says the recent federal election campaign shows political parties are paying attention, but way more work needs to be done.
So it was important to see that the topic now was no longer is it real or not, it was how are we going to address it.
Animal rights and climate change tie in so closely together because of animal agriculture and our food systems.
14-year-old Ryan Feinberg is tired of going unheard.
Because as young people, sometimes it feels like we can't do anything. But when we unite together in a place like this, it's really comforting and reassuring that change can be made.
This was her first Fridays for Future rally, but she says it won't be her last. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Meteorologist Nick Cernkovich joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Nick, a cloudy and gusty day and temperatures dipping tonight.
Yeah, they are, Kelda, and certainly cooler today as well. Temperatures around 16 degrees is a high through the afternoon. There's a look at the afternoon temperatures, warmer down towards southwestern Ontario. This is below the seasonal mark, though, for us. Now, we've also got some rain to talk about as well for tomorrow. A bit of a soggy Saturday, not so much in the beginning, but toward the afternoon. Here's a look at the forecast map. So heading into tomorrow morning, cloud cover starting to increase, rain showers in southwestern Ontario for the morning, and then in toward the afternoon, around about 2 p.m. We've got rain to move through and the risk of some thunder showers as well. Should clear out, though, by the evening. And then as we head through Sunday, just a few spotty showers on the back end of it, but that's really about it. Here's a look at your forecast for the next 24. 10 degrees tonight, although single digits outside the GTA. 19 tomorrow, showers, thunderstorms, windy as well. But the forecast does stabilize. It actually gets a little better as we head toward next week. Your full details coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Nick. The province's mandatory training for those who serve alcohol now includes a module on recognizing and responding to sexual violence. Smart Serve Ontario says the new training will be critical to ensuring patrons are safe. But as Farah Morali tells us, some advocates for sexual assault survivors are wondering why it took so long.
Our government has zero tolerance for sexual violence.
It's a certification program for those who handle alcohol. And now it's serving up something new. Training on how to respond to sexual violence.
We want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to keep patrons, staff, and owners safe.
The new program includes tips on how to identify acts of sexual violence. And while it's being applauded, some are wondering why it took so long.
It's a win, but it's a delayed win. And we could have prevented a lot more sexual violence if we had done it earlier.
Farah Khan has been pushing for sexual violence training to be in Smart Serve since 2015.
So it's more than just talking about patrons, it's talking about how staff can be safe. It's talking about how alcohol can be used to rationalize someone's ability to be entitled to a person's body. We really needed this conversation. And it was pushed time and time again that this had to happen by Smart Serve, and they didn't listen at that time.
In 2016, Toronto City Council also adopted a motion asking the province to require Smart Serve to include training to identify and intervene in incidents of sexual assault. And NDP MPP Peggy Sattler pushed for that in her own bill in 2017.
We had to make sure that we did it right.
Today, Smart Serve said it took time to understand the best approach.
We wanted to make sure that it was the right amount of information. Those that take the program now can be 3 to 4 hours long, and we didn't want to make it onerous for our users. So that would be the journey to decide how much to put in it.
It gives me a little bit of hope.
Veteran servers like Bridget DeMann welcome the move, especially now.
COVID had a lot of people leaving. Most of the people are very experienced or very green, and there's so many new people in the industry, young people who may not have the confidence or the wherewithal to defend themselves.
But for her, far more still needs to be done.
It is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of educating people about prevention. It's a very soft, introductory way to educate, but it's still a good step.
Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
A former Toronto police officer says he spent 14 years fighting for compensation after his career was cut short due to work-related PTSD. And when Ralph Thistle was finally awarded years of lost wages this summer, he says he thought the battle was finally over. But now he fears the money may be in jeopardy and another potential legal battle may be looming. John Lancaster reports.
I am heartbroken. I am saddened.
Former Toronto police officer Ralph Thistle spent more than a decade at Ontario's Workplace Safety and Insurance Board fighting for compensation for work-related PTSD. In June, he was awarded $630,000 in lost wages. Since the 64-year-old received the money, he's been rebuilding his life and setting aside the bulk of the money to help his kids.
They suffered immeasurably because I was a police officer with Toronto. They got vicarious trauma, and this is my way to say, as a father, I will protect you. Because when I was so unwell under the command of Toronto Police, I wasn't a father or a husband because I was so sick with PTSD.
The former award-winning officer quit the police force in 2007 after 29 years on the job. He was months shy of being eligible for a pension. His severe PTSD led to alcoholism, then homelessness. He says after the WSIB ruled he should be compensated for his lost years in the force, he thought he could put his dark past behind him. But he fears that's now in jeopardy. Toronto police have filed a legal notice with WSIB asking for a review of Thistle's award. It's the first step required for police to appeal the amount. Thistle says the prospect of another potential battle ahead has set him back.
It's triggered the nightmares. Again, 3 o'clock in the morning, I walk from window to window in my cabin, looking outside, expecting Toronto police to come for me. Come.
The police service has told CBC News this is a routine process and it hasn't yet decided whether it will appeal.
Sit.
John Lancaster, CBC News, Toronto.
It is mainly clear tonight and staying that way overnight. Currently, it's 13 degrees in downtown Toronto. Let's go back to Nick now with a look at your extended forecast. And Nick, for those with outdoor plans tomorrow, they can expect a bit of rain.
Yes, they can. I had actually friends desperately calling me saying they had outdoor plans. And, well, unfortunately, if it's through the afternoon tomorrow, you're looking at some rain showers and thunderstorms in some areas anyway. So soggy Saturday in the forecast. A few showers on Sunday, but it's not going to be a wash. And then cooler temperatures, but actually right about seasonal as we head into the long-range forecast. Let's talk about the rain first. Cloud cover tonight, generally clearing out. Tomorrow morning, a few hints of sunshine. We've got rain showers that move in from southwestern Ontario through the morning, and then closer to about 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, the rain moves through the Golden Horseshoe. Basically looking at rain showers from about 2 p.m. through till about 7, 8 p.m. or so. Might see a few breaks in there, and also the risk of a thunderstorm as well. After that clears out, generally a dry night for tomorrow. And then as we head through Sunday, we've got the risk of a few spotty showers in the forecast on Sunday, but it's not going to be a wash, certainly, but a few isolated showers certainly not out of the question. Into Monday, things begin to clear up, and then we lock into this new sort of stable weather pattern, at least for a few days. In terms of how much rain we can expect, broadly speaking, we're looking at about 5 to 10 millimeters of rainfall, although locally higher amounts if we do see those thunderstorms, but that's generally what we're expecting to see here. Gusty winds as well, by the way, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour through tomorrow afternoon. Tonight down in southwestern Ontario, double-digit lows around 12, 13 degrees. Tomorrow, highs to 19 degrees with those showers and thunderstorms that are moving through. Winds out of the southwest there to about 30, 40 kilometers per hour. Golden Horseshoe tonight, single digits in some areas, double digits in others. That's about the seasonal mark. And tomorrow, pretty much on the seasonal mark. And again, those afternoon showers moving through the region. Now, long-range forecast. The risk of a few showers on Sunday, and then as we move through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we lock into kind of a stable weather pattern, which means 19s across the board, and looks like a fair deal of sunshine as well. Kelda.
Like the sound of that. Thanks, Nick. A Brampton woman has stitched her way to the top prize of an international fashion competition, Shein X. Sasha Ruddock beat 30 other designers from around the globe, taking home a $100,000 prize to develop her fashion line, Flaws of Couture. Our Natalie Collada caught up with fashion's latest superstar.
Welcome to my studio away from home.
Be bold. Be you. Sasha Ruddock is stitching her credo into creation.
And if you can have pieces that really just allow you to show up as the person that you know deep down you are, then life just gets much more entertaining and exciting.
Her designs are about representing all body shapes and sizes, something limited in the fashion world.
I've never gone into the mall with my friends and shopped till I drop. I don't know what that's like. But think about that on a large scale. The entire mall, there's only 2 to 3 places that someone above a size 12 could shop at.
So she started designing, creating the label Flaws of Couture, eventually selling pieces over social media.
I was just blown away, and I just knew then and there that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a force to be reckoned with, because if I can do this, it's on. It's on.
So this whole collection, so many of the pieces are pieces that I've always wanted to have for myself.
So when the Shein X contest came up, she jumped in and took over.
She has that fight and that hunger in her, and I don't think she's going to let anyone else win this competition but her.
Oh, no.
And she didn't. Ruddock won the entire contest, taking home the $100,000 prize to invest in her label, now selling her collection on Shein's website.
I just want people who are wearing my clothes to feel comfortable but elevated. I want them to feel really high fashion, but, you know, sporty and sexy and attractive and seen.
Dropping next week, her outerwear collection, allowing all women not just survive those GTA winters, but thrive.
You know, you don't want to have to feel like you're not your best self arriving to wherever you're going simply because you had to go and get a jacket because you were cold. You know, you want even the pieces that you're wearing on the outside to really show up and show out.
Words she lives by. Natalie Collada, CBC News, Toronto.
And that is our show for you tonight and for the week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. Have a great night.